Filmmaking is our topic today. I am chatting with Elin Gunnarsdotter Sandvik, who joins us from Norway. Elin is an actor, a screenwriter, a producer, director, and does some live theater work too. It all incorporates the multipotentialite approach to dramatic arts. A really interesting topic and a great field for multipotentialites, where you can combine all kinds of different creative approaches, right? Not just to filming itself and acting, but writing and all the things. And so we talk about Elin's inspiration growing up in Norway and the fabulous school that she went to, post-secondary school for dramatic studies, which really encouraged that kind of thinking outside the box and approaching filmmaking in different original ways that aren't necessarily by the book. Elin has a short film in the works. It's called Moonlight Ode, which, in fact, you can help bring to reality with the crowdfunding page. The page has lots of information about the background to the film, the story, and the creative approach to it. Again, it's a very different kind of structure to the narrative and the story. It's fascinating. They have the actors lined up, they have the crew, and they have the location. They're planning on filming it in Gran Canaria, the Canary Islands. So just at the stage of finding funding, and hopefully they can get that put together this year. So we chat about that, but overall, it's a conversation about multipotentiality in the dramatic arts. So if it's something that you're interested in, I know you'll find this one fascinating and very inspiring too, to see how Elin has really pursued her own creative path in search of, as she says, true connection and communicating. These are things that hit right home here at the MultiPod. So let's dive in. Well, welcome back, everybody. This is the MultiPod. Great to have everyone with us. Thanks for joining us. And we have a wonderful guest today, Elin Gunnarsdotter Sandvik.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great.
Is that pretty good?
Yeah, really good.
I was thinking I may have had a guest from Norway before, but I'm not sure offhand. I mean, this show's been around for, I'm losing track, 7 years now. Anyway, we've had a few people from Scandinavia, but it's always fun to meet, people from different places. So again, you're joining us from Norway. Whereabouts do you live in Norway?
Oslo.
In Oslo, yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
Pretty in the center of Oslo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never been. I'd love to go to Norway someday, but it's on the list for sure.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we have a common connection who was a fairly recent guest here on the podcast, which is our friend Katsi, who lives in Australia now, originally from Italy. And she introduced you to me and we said, hey, let's explore your story and your multipotentialite journey and the things that you're into, much of which revolves around filmmaking. But as always, I'm sure there's other interests and projects too. So I'm excited to get to know you and share your story with the audience. And well, tell us a bit. I mean, we often start with the multipotentialite kind of identity. And I mean, whether it's from that term or there's different terms, of course, or you may not even have a term, but just the feeling that, people have often, usually it starts when you're kind of a teenager, that type of thing. And, maybe as you're getting into like college years and you realize, well, I don't want to do one thing. I don't want to have to choose the one thing, especially for careers. It's not all about jobs and careers, but, having to be kind of boxed into a corner when there's all these things that we want to do. So was there ever a moment, and maybe it kind of grew over time, where you resonated with that feeling?
Yeah, and maybe also in a kind of a slightly different way as well, because I've always wanted to create. And there are so many different ways of creating.
Yeah.
So a part of me knew that I wanted to do something in acting realm, but with that comes a lot of interests. So it's kind of an umbrella. And for me, also the umbrella was to work on getting to know the human being and to use all the senses in me, to use my whole being, and which also means for instance, maybe this is kind of an example. I did art as part of my high school education, and in that, where people maybe wanted to dive into like painting, I wanted to use all of the senses. So when I created things, it would involve having a walkie-talkie, listening to something I've been reading, and making a book where they could look at while listening to it, to write and to have images, and to even the poem I had written, I even printed it into, do you call it Braille? Like
with the dots,
yeah, so you could, so you can use the whole,
that's cool.
everything in me kind of thing. And that's where the versatility becomes more and more present in a way. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Particularly for artists, I think, because, multimedia type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also to like psychology, to dive into why people behave the way they do, to everything that is connected to connecting with others, with energies, with, I don't know if it makes sense.
So did you like pursue art or drama or creative pursuits in kind of post-secondary in college?
It took some time before I dived deep into that because I wasn't brave enough. I thought, okay, that is for people who've done that since they were children. I have not. But I went to an education who also suited me very well when I went to, I got a bachelor in drama and theater communication because we had to be part of like everything. We had to learn how to set lighting, how to work with the script, to make the costumes. Like we had to work on all the pieces in creating performances, which suited me very, very well.
Yeah.
And then I also have an acting school 3 years after that, and I have some subject from the university. So it's
that sounds pretty cool. That's a great multi-potentialite education.
Yeah.
When you went into it, like, did you have a goal, kind of what you wanted to do when you were done, or kind of follow your nose?
Follow my nose, and what I wanted was not knowing how, but be able to express and create. Not knowing how that would come about. I've followed what happens along the way. I've never had long-term plans, but followed where my inspiration goes, kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah. And I wanted to act, of course, so the acting school, but that also suited me very well because it wasn't one technique. We had a lot of different ways of working, which is also what I love a lot, not just one way of doing it, but
was it like
me again?
I mean, that it sounds like that type of education or training, and I guess the school that goes with it, like were they intentionally structuring that way that it was multi kind of dimensional? Did you know that going in, or did you kind of find that out?
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't. I knew it was like, no, I didn't know how they structured it, and I definitely loved it.
Because you could easily end up in a school for whatever it is, but this is the way we do it, and you have to do it this way, right? And maybe you don't know that going in. So it sounds like you're quite lucky to find a nurturing kind of environment, right? For variety and stuff.
Yeah. And then I also have to mention that the last maybe 5 years, I was also very lucky to stumble across a lady called Jo Kelly, who has an acting facilitating community online, which is all about no techniques, all about getting to know yourself and open your instrument, which also was like the perfect alignment with my way of viewing the world. So that was really the changed a lot.
That's neat. And I guess then the next question is relates back to the opportunities in the scene in Norway itself. I have no idea what the film, or even more broadly, the arts kind of industry is like in Norway. Are there opportunities there, or is it always something that you have to leave the country to kind of pursue your career?
No, you can stay here, but I've had a very strange journey in that which I would never expect. I used to do theater, working in different theaters in the country and also touring companies.
Yeah.
And I had day jobs as well in between. And I didn't do, I acted in some movies, but I didn't create movies myself. But I produced a couple of site-specific theater performances where also I used dancers, musicians, artists, and the location, the landscape was the inspiration for me to create those performances. Yeah. But then COVID came, and then I stumbled across, I don't believe in coincidences. I think it was meant to be this online community with Joe, where I got to know people from all over the world. And during that period, we were put together in groups and we started to create film and seeing that, we can even do that being in totally different countries.
Yeah.
So I live in Oslo, but I feel I'm like living also somewhere else because I have a lot of collaborators across countries.
Yeah.
And I am working with a feature film with someone in Scotland and one in Amsterdam, and we've been writing together. And we met for the first time in person the first day of shooting.
Okay.
So it's like, and I could never have imagined that. So that's a nice thing after COVID, that suddenly the world becomes pretty small. And that also feels very expansive. It's just not being here doing this with these people. It's suddenly, all over, which is also amazing in terms of my whole being. That makes sense.
And do you find like the collaborators you've met, are they kind of along the same wavelength? Are they sympathetic to, different ways of doing things?
Yeah. And to not do things necessarily how it's supposed to. Like we don't follow rules. We do what we want to do, to not box anything in, but to create in new ways, without following I'm doing this, you can't see that on podcast. But,
air quotes,
not to follow what people say you should, kind of.
Right. I'm always interested, with creative pursuits, whatever it may be, film or music or writing. Do you, for you at least, do you feel you create ultimately for yourself, or are you creating for an audience or maybe a specific type of person?
I am creating for, this sounds too big, so I'm not going to use that word. I am creating for humanity kind of way. Of course, it's because I'm a type of person who expresses, and I think I'm here to express. I don't target specific, I'm creating for these people, but I'm fully aware of that. Some people resonate with what I do, some don't.
Yep.
And I trust that the ones I resonate with are the ones who will kind of be the audience. But I'm doing it because I genuinely believe that through creating, we can reach a place of true connection and communicating. And so I think it's a very important way to contribute in the world, to be able to connect on a very deep human level and not from a surface kind of level, if that makes sense. And it's
sure,
too big.
Art, like arts and creativity, is kind of the gateway maybe for that connection. Do you get what kind
Absolutely.
of feedback do you get? And are you able to engage with people that watch and follow your stuff?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I am more and more into really be brave to express real like truth and real emotion, which for some people might be, oh shit, this is a bit too much. And for some people, it's a way to really see that we contain a lot of stuff, the darkness, the
Yeah.
intense emotions, the humor. So I know I connect also with those who want to experience like rawness as well.
Yeah.
And some people find it to be too much.
Well, I suppose, but I mean that's part of it. I don't.
Yeah, it is.
It's. I know what you mean. Like when you're in that kind of space where you want to experience that, you want to go deeper, and it's going to be rough. It could be painful. It could be intense. But you're ready for it. You have to be in the right moment, I think, for that. I mean,
Yeah.
does this relate back to live theater then, as much as anything?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, it has been very important. All the years I've been acting is when I dived into a character. It was not about like, oh, I'm going to do this character, I'm going to do it on stage, people are going to watch, but it's about humility as well. How can I express this voice that this character has, and how can that connect with the audience, like the real communication between the audience and the people on stage.
Yeah.
So it's not me and my ego stuff, but that it is the connection again. That's been very important to me. And when I did those site-specific performances that I produced myself, I was very into to also use the locals, the ones that would be the audience. I wanted to include them, and I talked to them up front, and I interviewed them, and I used some of that material in the performance. So the togetherness, the connectedness is very, very important. And one of the driving factors for this, and to get out of my head and my ego and to be in a serving mode without being too sounding like I'm a saint here.
Well, that's a good point then. So how does your various types of performing and creating help you feel, I mean, maybe get out of your head to grow as a person, right? To understand your emotional experience? Does it help you really understand that and, progress through that?
Yeah, 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 definitely. And also the fact that I'm using different medias makes it even more expansive.
Yeah. Well, a lot of this seems to relate back when one thing you mentioned to me when we were talking before here, or writing before, was just you brought us some concepts like inner work and shadow work and deconditioning, which is really interesting. And now we kind of have some context, I think, for how you approach those terms. But how do you define like those terms, and how you apply them to your work or just your interest?
Yeah. I could talk about it for hours. Just a few things about it.
Yeah.
One of the factors of shadow work to me is to really be present to what's happening inside my body, and to get to experience it and express it and honor it, and to get to know, because everyone, it's my belief, we have a lot of different parts in us, all the different ages, everything we've inherited, even like what we brought into this world with what's been before us, to really look inwards and get to know these parts and to allow them, and to not bypass anything, to allow the feelings and to express them and to honor them and not try to hide things or put a lid on or just move forward, trying to get away from what's uncomfortable, but to really look the uncomfortable in the eyes and experience it and allow it and holding space for it, which is very important in my work as well, because it opens up my instrument. So I can follow what's happening in a character. I can follow if sadness is coming up, I allow that. And understanding of other people and see what's behind the different emotions, what's behind defense mechanisms, to get to know and dive into all those parts. And also to come to a place of seeing the beauty of being a human. No matter if it's raging or sadness, it's all beautiful.
It's all human,
Human. And the more shadow work I do, the more I can also take responsibility for my own emotions and to see, okay, when I'm projecting or when I'm blaming, but to see, okay, this is happening in me, I'm owning this and I take care of it and I can hold it.
Right.
And that makes me be more and more open in my work as well, and to receive what's inspiration, what's happening, and it also creates a lot of material because I have a lot of inner experiences becomes also texts I'm writing or
and then how does deconditioning fit in? Is that a similar thing?
It is, because it's to not try to do things the way it's supposed to be done. And to not, for instance, in acting, this is something I got very aware of when I did work with the facilitator I worked with, that even though an actor is supposed to have emotions in the characters, we still have some conditioning in our system that we are not aware of. Like crying, for instance, even though I'm supposed to do that because that's this character, there is a part resisting it because in the world, for instance, or in my case, it's like crying is then you're weak or do not cry. So even though it's part of the job, there is conditioning of, that's not totally okay. And it's not totally okay to do it in front of others. But by accepting all of it and expressing it, I can also much more freely express emotions through my work in a true way. This makes sense. And also not to like do what I think people will like at all, but just to express what's coming through me. And even just doing self-tapes, I do what comes through me, and that's okay. Then I can send it and be happy, and some people will like it, some not. While conditioning is like, okay, this is how it should be done, and this is okay, this is not okay. And all the boxes and walls we can create for ourselves because of how the society sometimes tells what's okay and what's not. That might not actually be the case.
Well, I know this will resonate with a lot of the audience. Not that we're all necessarily rebels or something, but we push back against those boundaries, and the things that we're supposed to do.
And you don't have to be a rebel either, but also to just allow, because when we can allow who we truly are, I think that it's also going to be part of creating a world of real connections instead of just blaming. But if we look in, or I'm talking on my behalf, when I look into myself and see what's happening and what's conditioning, what have I been taught and what have I thought is okay and not, it's also more easy to be in conflict because it's blaming or hiding, or all this tension is created. But by opening up and getting to know myself and to feel what I'm feeling, it's also more openness to other people.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily rebelling against, but more opening up to.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Also,
Interesting.
if you want to, you can rebel, of course.
Sure.
I've done that too.
Well, I really want to learn about your film project specifically, and we can share that with the audience. So tell us what you're working on these days, what's coming up.
Yeah, I'm working on a short film, which is very specifically related to the shadow work I've done. And it is about diving into yourself and dare to be in the darkness and then open up for the light. So it is a text I wrote along the way while doing a lot of this work. Starting with actually that I did a somatic practice of realizing, because there is a philosophy of that we create shields. Because when we were kids, we experienced things that the body didn't want to make sure we'd never experience again, which is very intelligent of the body to do, but it doesn't necessarily serve us in the future. So that was part of the program shadow work I was doing, was to dive into what is like the first memory that comes up with me, where I actually, my body made this shield that I'm still unconsciously using.
Right.
And I realized that, it's the first time I had an epileptic seizure in kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
Because I was waking up on the floor and all of these kids was just like around me, staring at me like it felt like it was very scary and uncomfortable moment to wake up to that, having no idea what happened. And I couldn't run away because there were actually electricity in my body because of the seizure.
Yeah.
So then I had to hide inside myself. So I detached and I'm running away in the sense that I'm just pretending I'm not here, which is the shield that I've used being an adult as well, just like pretending, hiding inside myself, not leaving, but just.
Right.
And then when I dived into that, suddenly a whole world opened up that, it's not just the actual fact that I had this experience, is also related to shame and to the fact that epilepsy has been a taboo in the past, going even back to being burnt at the stake, because people actually believed you had a demon inside of you. Yeah, and my grandmother had it, and that was a bit. So suddenly it's like, this is a whole world opening up to dive into. And then I got inspired, and I wrote a monologue about that. And a year later, I think I wrote another text with an experience I had of really getting connection with one of my inner child kind of thing, and how to hold this child, let her express and rage and all of this. And much later again, I did a short film where I completely opened up. I was sitting in the middle of the forest, just opening up to whatever runs through not even language, but through sounds, and just be completely free. And then I was later thinking, these are all connected. It's snippets of the journey of going from being restricted to opening up and dare to face it, to being embodied freedom. So then, I wanna make a movie that has this journey. But I didn't exactly know how or what. I just wanted that to be. Yeah. And then I didn't think that much more about it. I just had it playing in back of my mind, and knowing that if something comes up for me that I want to do, then it will come up. And then I had a conversation with a friend who's from Germany who moved to Gran Canaria, because I'm thinking about maybe moving south because to have not be in Norway and be cold. So I actually had a Zoom call with her just to hear about her experience with how it was to move and how is it to live there. And she talked about the landscape, and she described the landscape that Gran Canaria has everything. It's from like the ocean to the lava, a dry landscape, to the green mountaintops. And then everything fell into place with this movie.
Oh, really?
Of course, that's the journey. And I saw all the images, and I sat down and wrote the whole thing afterwards. It all made sense, and I could picture everything visually as well. So that's the story behind it. And I'm going to shoot it there. Yeah. And my team is people from all over the world. The DOT is in England, and all kinds of connections I have in different countries. So that is what I'm producing now, and we will shoot when I have enough money to do it. So I'm running a crowdfunding campaign for that.
Okay.
And also I'm working on a feature film with two brilliant colleagues that I mentioned in Scotland and the Netherlands, where we have written each our parts. We're going to shoot in all the 3 countries. And it also is a red thread of the work I do is also a lot about facing our shadows and to reach a place of freedom.
Yeah.
Neat. Yeah.
This is really exciting.
That's also in the making. Yeah.
Cool. What's it like juggling like 2 major projects like that at the same time?
Sometimes it's very logistically, and especially since we are in different countries and we all have different schedules. But the way I'm working, and I'm working on also trusting it more and more, is that I work when I'm inspired. I don't force or push. And I also work in a vintage shop beside this. Yeah. I am working on trusting the flow and to trust timing, and not force or push or make like schedules that are very tight. It doesn't work for me. Then I just get so I'm flowing between them and working on trusting more and more and more.
So to that extent, do you have any kind of deadlines or timelines, or
the timeline
it goes the way it goes?
It goes the way it goes. We've had a lot of timelines with a feature project, but it takes more time than we originally thought. It's like a long-term project. So the timeline is that the short film, as soon as I have enough money, I will set the shooting days. The team is ready. I have like the costumes. So that is all about having the opportunity to do it, because since we're traveling down there, it's more expensive than if I just made something here in Oslo. Yeah. So as soon as the financial part is, I have enough, everything else is kind of ready. So then I'm just setting the dates. And I learned from the feature project that it's very smart to have deadlines, but it takes time. So, and it's important to not bypass anything along the way. And I've also learned that even though it has taken way more time than we originally planned for, that time has been necessary because we've evolved along the way. Things happen that expands the project. The same with my short film, that things are showing up along the way that is really helping the project. So, yeah. And also when I did the site-specific performances, I knew I was going to do it. And I got a bit impatient when it didn't happen as soon as I wanted. But when I did do them, it was like, of course, I couldn't have done it before now. the timing is perfect. So to trust that it takes the time it's supposed to take for it to be the most impactful it can be.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it all makes sense in retrospect. So how can people support you? Where can we send them?
You can. I will share a link to the crowdfunding campaign, which is amazing. People contribute. It's absolutely amazing. So I will share that. And also, I'm thinking if someone wants to support, you can also DM me on my Instagram because I want to show my gratitude. And I will also post a link to the feature project just to get to know, see several aspects of the landscapes I'm working in.
Yeah.
But I'm going to share the crowdfunding. It's,
okay.
Yeah.
I think, is there a name for the short film that you settled on?
Moonlight Ode. And
Moonlight
I
Ode.
write in English, so it is, it's for everyone to understand. And there is a lot of information in the campaign too about what it's about.
Yeah.
And some snippets of the script. And
cool.
Yeah.
And otherwise, generally speaking, do you send people to your website or just Instagram or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll put that link in the notes here too, so people can reach out to you.
Yeah.
And as always, this is wonderful. I mean, this is you're a perfect example of a guest we have who's got, a great story, but also a specific project to share that they're working on, right?
Yeah.
And I often find that helps with just connecting people because it's a little less kind of general and broad. It's really quite specific. So if people, the film project for sure and the filmmaking in general maybe really speaks to everybody watching, listening, then absolutely reach out and make a connection. That's what we're here for.
And I love all the connections abroad that has naturally.
Yeah, that's nice. The world feels smaller.
Yeah, it does. It does. And it feels like we're connected as humans.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, this has been great. It's been wonderful having you here and hearing your story and perspectives. And I'm excited for your projects. We'll keep an eye on it for sure.
Yeah, thank you. So nice to be here too. So thank you for that.
Cheers. All right. So yes, again, Midnight Ode is the short film that's in the works. Again, the links to the crowdfunding page here are in the show notes for the episode, and do check it out. There's a lot more information, and we've touched on it for sure a bit here in our conversation. The crowdfunding page kind of tells you a little bit more of the background and what they're trying to do. So hopefully we can help Elin and her team put that together and bring it to fruition. And as she says, do reach out if you want to have conversations about filmmaking and multipotentiality, especially her approach to it. Again, I find filmmaking to be such an interesting creative angle, really, really made for multipotentialites because there's so many different ways you can do it, you can pursue it. You're not kind of boxed in, as you say, or pigeonholed into one area, like just the writing or just acting or something. I mean, if you don't want to, but if you want to do a whole bunch of things, some of the creative cinematography and designing and film production, could be costumes, it could be lighting. I mean, there's all kinds of creative ways that filmmaking incorporates. So it's really neat to talk about here today. Now for our next episode, we're going to swing back around here to Canada, in fact, to Montreal, just down the road from where I live. Now, you may have heard that there is a group trip coming up in September 11th to 13th, that weekend in Montreal. It's hosted by our friend John McKenzie, aka John the Traveler, who for the last year or two has been putting together Curiosity trips, which are semi-guided trips to various places. He's done a couple in Mexico City, a couple near his home in Washington, D.C., and a few months ago, I said, well, hey, why don't you come on up to Montreal? There's lots to see and do. It's a great city to just go exploring, kind of poking around, follow your nose, all kinds of different things, that appeal to different people. And that's the nature of these trips, the Curiosity trips, is that as much as it's a group trip and, people coming together to see and explore a place together, there's also time and space for people to kind of go and do their own thing and come back together and really just pursue what it is they're interested in. It's very much a tour, a type of trip that's designed for multipotentialites. So he's putting that on. I'm helping out with him, and we're going to be talking about it on the next episode of the MultiPod. It's not too late by any means to sign up, but you will have to hop on it soon. So go to johnthetraveler.com. You'll see the links there to the Curiosity trip, and particularly for Montreal in September 11th to 13th again. But I'll leave it at that for now. There's lots more coming up on our next episode here of the MultiPod in a couple of weeks. So we'll see you then. Thanks again to Elin for joining us today. Thanks for all of you for being with us. I'd love to hear from you if you have any comments or questions. If you'd like to come on the show, share your interests, share your projects like Elin did, and reach out for some of that great connection and collaboration. That's what we're here for. So I'd love to hear from you. You can write to the multipodcast@gmail.com, or if we're connected any other way in the Puttyverse, in the Indie Life Collective, Facebook, anything else like that, you can always just send me a message there too. Look forward to hear from you. We'll talk more soon.